vacation time, sick time. I got to leave early. Am I going to get paid for it? I have a dentist appointment. Oh, is Martin Luther King's Day a paid holiday? Do we pay 4th of July? How many days do we get at Christmas time? Taking care of this for your employees and tracking this can be a horror show. And how do you successfully implement time off? I'm Ron Ramsden, DYB coach, painting contractor, and I want to share with you what we found works the best. So, as we all know, employees deserve time off. Although maybe we don't want to give them time off because we have so much work this time of year or all year long, they need time off. And what a better way to keep employees is offering paid vacations, sick days, personal days, whatever it may be. Maybe it's 4 holidays a year, whatever it may be. So what you have to do is you got to calculate how many days off you want to allow them. But instead of keeping track, and if you are anything like me, years ago, I'd have employee number 1 say they need 3 days off in February and they need a day off in March. They don't take anything for 4 months, and all of a sudden they need a week vacation that's earned to them. And then in November, even though I'm keeping track, they still think they have another week on the books. And they were there 3 years. They just changed over to 4 years. I had another guy who was with me for 10 years. I have so many people who've been there a year or two. It was time that I didn't want to spend, and I wasn't good at keeping track of it. So I had to know that everybody deserved time off. I needed time off, and I love having my time off. But how do you keep track of this? Well, we had a professional payroll company. A lot of you do. I just found that paying my taxes on time and keeping track of taxes and, like I said, time off and just making sure those paychecks get where they have to be electronically every week was something I didn't want to have to worry about, and I was willing to pay. And I'll tell you, having everything paid on time and nobody arguing because it is what it is and I'm not controlling it, it worked great. So anyways, how do we control it? Well, if you're using a larger payroll company, this is a no-brainer for them. They do this all the time. It's called paid time off. And the way this works is as they work, they accrue their time. So if they're off a couple days, they're not going to accrue time. So if you have someone who starts, and we're just going to say January 1st, and in February they say, Martin Luther King Day, we get that off. Yeah, great, we get it off. You can take it off, but you might only have 4 hours accrued, so you're only going to get paid for those 4 hours. But if they're a worker, and we had many workers, we had one worker who was with us for over 10 years, he never, ever took a time off. If he called in sick, he was dying. And I can count on one hand how many times he called sick in 10 years. Vacation time, very, very rarely. Maybe a Friday twice a year, maybe a Monday twice a year. He never took half of what he earned. So it was a great way to keep track of that. And we paid off our accrued time at the end of the year. So, which was great. If someone started February 18th and needed time off for their kids in April school vacation, well, they could take the time off, but they would only get paid what they accrued, and they could not borrow forward. It was set in stone. We made the rules, but the rules were for everybody. It worked out great, and it also controlled time off. So I'm going to read from some notes. Excuse me if my eyes look another way, but I want to make sure you got this calculation right. So first of all, you have to figure out how many days you're going to allow them off. So how many hours? A day breaks into 8 hours. How many days? You're going to have vacation time. You're going to have some holidays, maybe a personal day or two, sick day or two. So we're going to round this out as 80 hours. And you can adjust this. The calculations will all fall into place once you do this. So then you got to figure out how many hours a year do you work? Well, we're going to go with the 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year. So we work 2,080 hours. So you divide the 80 hours by the 2,080 hours of work. So the 80 hours you want to give them off, you divide by how many hours your company works a year. This will give you the accrual rate per hour. And I'm going to give you a calculation. So you do the 80 hours divided by the 2,080 hours the company works, each individual should work, will give you an accrual rate of 0.038. So for every hour they work, they they earned 0.038 hours. So it looks at, you can see that they're going to have to work a lot of hours to get a day off. But that's fair, because in July, if they start in January and they want to take the 4th of July week off, they will have a week's vacation. And what's really good, if someone is, and we all have them, habitually off, they're calling sick on Mondays. Unfortunately, they're the keeper, they're the sole keeper of the kids, and the kids are sick. Maybe they're going on a field trip with the kids. Do they have the time? Well, they either have it or not, and when they get their payroll to look at their hours online every week, and they're off a day, they can fill in paid time off 80 hours. We approve it, hit the button, and everything is great. And if anybody has any questions on that, we just go back and look at payroll records. Very cut and dry. This is an easy way to control time off for your crew. So if you're not doing an official payroll, I have to say, if you get certified payroll, if you're doing it with QuickBooks or some other record, that is great. But when you hire a professional company, it's so easy. And in our case, taxes were never late. Everything was paid on time. Quarterlies were done on time, and they just came. It was super, super, super. So paid time off. If you need that calculation again, I'd love to share it. Anyways, have a great day. Ron Ramsden here with DYB Coach. You got this.